In the vibrant town of Willowbrook, nestled between rolling hills and meandering rivers, there was a quaint little bookstore named Pages of Dreams. Owned by the elderly and beloved Mrs. Evelyn Harper, the store was a haven for book lovers and dreamers alike. Mrs. Harper, with her silver hair and warm smile, knew every book on her shelves and every customer who walked through her door. For years, Mrs. Harper had nurtured her bookstore with love and care, but recently, she had been feeling the weight of age. Her dream was to leave behind a legacy, a special book that would inspire future generations and share the magic of reading with children who needed it most. Unfortunately, despite her best efforts, the time to write such a book never seemed to come. One chilly autumn morning, as Mrs. Harper was organizing the new arrivals, a young girl named Lily walked into the bookstore. Lily, a bright and imaginative 10-year-old, had recently moved to Willowbrook with her family. She had a passion for stories and a love for adventure that immediately caught Mrs. Harper's attention. "Hello, dear," Mrs. Harper greeted with a gentle voice. "Looking for anything special today?" Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "I'm looking for a book that can take me on an adventure." Mrs. Harper smiled, her eyes twinkling with a spark of inspiration. She led Lily to a cozy corner of the bookstore where old, leather-bound books rested. "These books have traveled far and wide. Maybe one of them can take you on the adventure you're looking for." As Lily browsed through the collection, she noticed a small, dusty volume tucked away in the corner. The book was unremarkable on the outside, but had a golden spine that shimmered when the light caught it. Lily picked it up, and Mrs. Harper's heart skipped a beat. She had completely forgotten about this particular book, a manuscript she had started years ago but never finished. "That's an old one," Mrs. Harper said. "I started writing it long ago but never quite managed to complete it." Lily opened the book, her eyes widening as she saw the first few pages filled with enchanting illustrations and a story about a magical land. "It's wonderful. Why didn't you finish it?" Mrs. Harper sighed, a touch of sadness in her voice. "Life has a way of getting in the way of dreams. I never had the chance to complete it." Lily, moved by the story and Mrs. Harper's tale, made a decision. "How about I help you finish it? I love stories, and I think this one is special. Together, we can make it perfect." Touched by Lily's offer, Mrs. Harper agreed. Over the next few weeks, the two spent their afternoons in the cozy bookstore, working on the manuscript. Lily's imagination and Mrs. Harper's experience blended seamlessly, and soon the book began to take shape in ways neither had expected. When the book was finally completed, Mrs. Harper and Lily decided to hold a special reading event at the bookstore. The event was a huge success, with townsfolk of all ages coming to listen to the story and celebrate the book's release. But the real twist came when Mrs. Harper received a letter from a renowned publisher who had attended the event. They were interested in publishing the book and bringing it to a wider audience. The publication of the book turned into a heartwarming success, and The Land of Whimsy became a beloved tale that inspired children across the country. Mrs. Harper's dream had come true, and she had Lily to thank for it. As Mrs. Harper watched children enjoy the book she had once dreamed of finishing, she realized that sometimes dreams do come true in the most unexpected ways, through the help of a kind-hearted friend and a shared love for stories.